All right, let's be real. Most people think AI agents are smart, but today we're making them dangerous. Now I'm about to show you how to give your AI agent the ability to do things. It's kind of like what Siri was meant to be. Think of this as Jarvis from Iron Man, but only now it's yours and it's in your back pocket. And we're building this for absolutely free. Everything I'm about to show you right now, you can build for free 99 and within 10 minutes. Now, during the course of this demo, I'm going to show you exactly how to set this up using assignx and Zapier MCP. And if you stick around till the end, I'll give you my prompt template so you can build yours too. All right, so here's what we're doing. We're going to show you how to give your AI agent the ability to tap into tools you already use every single day. I'd like you to think about it like this. With Gmail, your AI can open emails, draft the perfect reply, and send it without you ever having to touch your keyboard. And with Google Calendar, it can check your availability and book meetings instantly. No back and forth. With HubSpot, it can pull up a contact record, update the deal stage, and even add any details or notes in real time. With PandaDoc, it can draft a proposal, autofill your client details, and send it off for signature. And our favorite, of course, is Stripe. It can generate a payment link and send it to your customers for you to get paid fast. And here's the crazy part. These are just 5 tools. Through assignx, your AI can connect over 10,000 tools, giving you access to almost everything you'll ever need to run your business or your busy life, if you're like me. And for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Noah. I've done the dev agency grind for the last 5 years. I scaled it to 7 figures in year 1. I built everything from dating apps to ride-sharing apps to fintech to blockchain platforms. And now I am stepping out of that vehicle to start this next chapter with assignx. This is the first ever no-code AI builder paving the way for AI agents as a service. It's called AI AS, and that's AI agents as a service. The world's first no-code AI builder paving the way for AI agents you can deploy in minutes. Think of it as like Wix or Lovable, but instead of building websites, you're building AI agents for sales, support, recruiting, customer service, or assistants like the one we'll build in a second here. All voice enabled and all shockingly human. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with something called MCP. But what is MCP? Well, it stands for Model Context Protocol. Depending on where you ask, you'll get 2 different answers. A quick who built MCP search on ChatGPT will claim it was built by OpenAI, whereas if you enter the same query on Claude, you'll get Anthropic. And let's not forget Google. I mean, it's now seen as the in-laws that we did, but it's still kicking to be relevant. So when we asked the almighty Google, it claimed Anthropic. So Anthropic rolled this out about 8 months ago. As of this recording, August 16, it didn't take off until maybe about 3 months back. Now, you're also probably wondering what in the world is an MCP. The way I can describe this is it's like giving your AI a backpack full of tools. It can reach into Gmail, HubSpot, Stripe, your calendar, and do the work for you. So instead of you logging into HubSpot to update your customers or sending that voice manually in Stripe, you just tell your AI to do it and it gets it done. All right, I'm gonna launch my computer here in a moment and we're gonna get the show on the road. This will be 3 simple steps. First, you log in and open up your assignx account, and this is where your AI agents that you build will live. Second, we're gonna log into Zapier to set up our MCP tools. And third, we'll add those tools to our AI agents on assignx. All right, sounds pretty straightforward. Let's dive in. I'm gonna go ahead and click on login. And immediately, I'm going to be routed to my AI agents. So this is where all my agents live. As you guys can see, I have Jarvis AI already pulled up. I'm going to click on more info and go over to actions. And over here, you'll see tools. And this is where I'm going to be able to add any tool I want to this AI agent, allowing it to take those actions that we want. All right, step 2 is I'm going to head over to Zapier MCP. Get started. And I'm redirected to my Zapier MCP. As you guys will see here, I have several different MCP tools that I've been testing with, but for the purpose of this demo, I'm gonna go ahead and create a new MCP server. Now, some exciting news I'd like to share with you guys. It's a bit early, but we're in the review process with Zapier to get our MCP client approved. And if you guys click on select a client, you'll see the likes of Claude, Anthropic API, OpenAI, and Cursor, VS Code, and various other MCP clients. These are one of the earliest, call it, startups that have launched the MCP capability, and we're actually in the process of getting ours approved by Zapier. So you'll just simply, from the list of options, select assignx. For now, you'll scroll down to the very bottom and select Other Connectors. Clicking on that, we're going to name this to Jarvis, MCP. I'll just name it that for the purpose of this video. And now that MCP has been created. And what I'm going to be able to do now is assign it to tools. So as you can see here, they're claiming about 8,000 plus applications. If I click on add a tool, I can search for Gmail, I can search for my Google Calendar, and various other tools. Salesforce, HubSpot, you name it. Any of the common tools you use, you can now add it to your AI agent and allow it to run that action for you. So I'm going to go ahead and start with our Gmail first. These are the list of tools. So there's the find data option and the take action option. So what these mean, it's pretty straightforward, self-explanatory. If it's going to find data, it's just simply searching for something. If it's going to take action, it's actually conducting some sort of command or action I've given it within that specific tool, in this case, Gmail. So if we look for the take action, I want it to send an email, right? So let me look around. Create a draft might be helpful. Like let's say you actually want to draft the email, but you want to look at it before it's sent or review it at a later point. For whatever reason, you'll want to select create draft. In my case, we're going to be sending an email. So I want to give it access to send an email. I can go over here and click on configure, but I'm already content with the configure. So it has my email. So this is the sender email. The well, it depends on who I ask my AI to send it to. I can tell my AI to send it to John Doe or Jane Doe. And my AI is going to look into the contact list I have, whether I've given it access to my HubSpot, Salesforce, Go High Level, and pull Jane or John Doe from there and then say, okay, great, what would you like the message to be? But I'm going to give that message to my AI as well. So think of it as multiple parts that are happening within this action to send an email, right? The first is, well, what email are we going to send it from? Well, that's already connected. The second is to, and I'm just going to tell my AI agent, hey, send an email to John Doe. And it's going to go and pull up John Doe and get the email and pop that in there. And then if I want it to CC or BCC, I can also include that in my conversation. For the purpose of this demo, I'm not. The from, name, that'll also be filled by my AI. Reply to, not really necessary. Subject, I can specify to my AI, hey, I'd like you to use this subject when you're sending this email. On my end, I'm going to be a little bit lazy and just have my AI come up with its own subject for this. The body, it's going to also draft whatever, it's the body type, the body. It's going to draft whatever I ask it to, right? So I might say something like, hey, let John Doe know that we're going to have to move our investor pitch to the following week or whatever meeting I have to a certain day. And it'll draft that email. And what's quite interesting that I've noticed is it'll actually come back to me and say, hey, what specific day would you like to move it to so I can include that in the email? And I like that it thinks through some of those critical things that we as, operators, business owners in a busy day, have to think about. Well, it thinks about it for us, which is really helpful. All right, so I will save these settings, and by default, those are the default settings. But let's say I wanted to look through my calendar and tell me what upcoming appointments I have or what appointments I needed to move or any of those actions. I can just kind of select Google Calendar. And for the sake of this, I'll just add all Google Calendar tools. So what does that actually entail? Retrieving event by ID. Really not relevant for my use case. Finding events will be. I might say, hey, I've got a conference in San Francisco next week. Can you remind me what time it is or what day it is? And it'll actually be able to look through based on the keywords I've given it and come back to me and say, hey, that event is on August 31st or whatever date might be, right? Finding calendars, not necessary. Deleting events, that might be helpful. The example I gave earlier, which is, hey, we got to move our meetings or a meeting to the next day. Well, it'll delete that original event and create a new event, right? So that will be helpful then. A lot of this is pretty self-explanatory and quite easy to use. I won't be adding that right now, but if I want to, let's just do it for the sake of this demo. I'll go ahead and add that. Now all of the Google Calendar tool capabilities have been added. Let's look at HubSpot. There's HubSpot. So if my business operates off of HubSpot and I want my agent to access everything within my HubSpot, so things like finding the company deprecated, well, that might not be necessary, but finding a company might be. Finding a contact most certainly will be. Deal deprecated, finding deals, that might be helpful. finding product, finding tickets. Let's look at taking action. Updating contact, subscription preference, add contact to a list, create company contact, association, create an engagement. You have all these different capabilities that your AI can do within your HubSpot. So that's where it's really valuable. And again, it comes down to whatever CRM system you might use. Some might be using Salesforce and go high level, even Zoho. And it's as simple as searching that tool and being able to add it to your AI agent. One of my favorites personally that I like to use would be Gmail, my calendar, and my Slack. I actually like to connect it to Slack to send messages on the fly, or if something comes to mind, I just, push it to Slack. Another good one are reminder tools. So, or maybe even action item tools such as my ClickUp. So I like to push tasks that I run on ClickUp. And what's quite interesting is I have a bunch of ideas that come up throughout the day. And it helps to just push those tasks over to my ClickUp without me having to open up the dashboard, navigate to the space, create the task. That is painstaking at this point. So I simply just launch my AI and tell it to create a task for XYZ. And based on just what I've told it there, it knows which specific list to add it to. In my org, I've got design, development, ops, sales, content. And so it'll determine where this goes and adds it to the proper place. And I may even ask it to assign this to me or a different team member, and it'll be able to run that action and assign it to the team member as well. So this is honestly one of my favorite capabilities within these AI agents, and it really allows me to be 10, 50x productive than I would be otherwise. All right, so let's assume we've gone ahead and added all our tools. We've got the entire suite of Google Calendar, Gmail. Let's just use these two for now. Next step is to connect this to our AI agent on assignx. So I'll click on connect, and this is going to give me the server URL. Well, this is blurred for you right now, and it's great that this is actually hashed, so I don't have to blur this in my post when I publish this. But this actually gives your AI access to your specific server within Zapier to make the tools, because remember, you're also logging into your tools. So if you're logging into your HubSpot, your Gmail, your calendar, you want to make sure that that's protected and that only you can access it, or in this case, also your AI. So whoever you give this URL to can actually access that. So in my case, I'm going to go ahead and click on copy, and we just need the server specific URL. We do not need to connect with OAuth. We'll bounce right back to our AI agent, and I'll come right over here to Jarvis. I'll go over to actions and add my tool. So in my case, this is going to be Jarvis demo tool. URL will get pasted right in here, and this will be blurred, so no one's stealing access to my tools. And the description here is I'm going to tell Jarvis, use this tool to create calendar events. Instead of create, let's just say manage calendar details and emails. You can read, write on my Gmail / Google Calendar, something like that. And I'll click on add. A few minutes here, it's going to get processed and confirm that this URL is valid. And immediately Jarvis now has access to the tools I just added. Now, for those of you that are seeing the Hormozi AI, this probably requires a separate video altogether. I use Hormozi AI to help with my sales and marketing strategies. I've actually just compressed everything published by Alex Hormozi himself. And I just watched his recent $100 million offer, I believe that's what it's called. And I will be compiling that in here as well and just simply feeding it to my AI agent so that I can ask questions about frameworks, methods that Alex Hormozi lives and dies by. And then it will be able to navigate and apply it to my specific use case. And that's kind of how I've been using Hormozi AI. It's quite an incredible tool. I'm going to come right back to Jarvis. Let's keep things on track here. So I'll run a quick test. So if I go ahead and expand this into the browser, with Jarvis, I can go ahead and embed this into whatever website I want. But in my case, I'm going to click on this arrow here, which will actually open up Jarvis in the browser. And you'll get this view here. When I click on this, you'll see that Jarvis AI is booting up.
Booting up, configuring in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, Jarvis, how are you?
The architect returns. Shall we collapse time and pretend we're ahead of schedule again?
No, not right now, buddy. I'm actually doing a demo on a live, well, it's not really live. It's my YouTube video. And I'd like to demonstrate you doing a quick action for me. Can you help me with that?
Your tools are dancing. I'm just conducting. What quick action shall I perform for your live demo?
In this demo, I'd like you to send Jeff Bezos a quick email congratulating him on his wedding. And let's see, on top of that, actually, that should be enough for now.
Got it. Please confirm the exact email address for Jeff Bezos you'd like me to send the congratulatory message to, and any specific details or tone you'd prefer in the email.
Yeah, so in theory, he would have access to my CRM and be able to pull up Jeff Bezos, right? And have that email without having to actually ask me. But since I haven't given him access to any of my CRM tools, he's directly asking me, well, what's the actual email you'd like me to send this to? So Jarvis, the email you can use can be jeff@gmail.com. How about that?
Understood. To confirm, you want me to send an email to jeff@gmail.com congratulating Jeff Bezos on his wedding. Please confirm the exact message, or should I draft a concise congratulatory note for you?
Yeah, you can just draft it for me and send it out. You don't have to tell me. I trust your judgment. Just send the email out for me, please.
Okay, I'm on it. All right, all done. What's next?
All right, let me just check your work real quick to make sure you've actually sent the email. So what I'll do is now I'm going to navigate over to Zapier MCP to make sure that that tool was actually called. And as you can see here, it was called, and it was sent August 16th at 7:13 p.m., which is currently right now. So here's the instructions. Mission accomplished, buddy. You can go ahead and reboot or boot back down and just go to sleep. Goodbye.
Mission accomplished. No civilians harmed. Going dark now. Catch you later, Commander.
Alrighty. Goodbye. So let's review what Jarvis actually did for us. I know this is a very simple task, but if done right and when done right, and you multiply this across a 3-month, 6-month, 12-month timeline, you're probably getting hours back. And this is just drafting an email. Imagine asking you to send an invoice, or asking you to draft a contract, or asking it to consult you on a case that you've got coming up. This is a dynamic tool that can be applicable across various verticals. And this is what gets me super excited, because I personally use this to help me with my day-to-day operation and managing my team, managing my personal life, and it kicks ass. Didn't really want to dive too much into it, but off to the left side, you guys can see the Shopify inventory MCP I built. That can really segue into a different direction here, but let's stay on track with what it's just done for me. So it sent the email to jeff@gmail.com. It's got the body and the subject, right? And that pretty much concludes the action for me. Now, if I was to go check my email and look into the sent folder, I'll be able to see this email actually sent from my personal email. Awesome. So that concludes tools and how they actually work and how you can actually use this with your AI agent. Again, right now I'm doing this in the browser, but you can actually take this on the go in your mobile phone and tap on the button, and this bad boy here loads up for you. And this is just the beginning, right? Once you connect Zapier MCP, your AI can reply to emails, book meetings, update your CRM, send proposals, and most importantly, get you paid. You can give your AI access to over 10,000 tools. And if you or your admin can do it, well, your AI can also now do it. So log into assignx and let your AI start running your business today. I'll see you in the next video.